Hey, welcome back to ZTV. It's your girl Z. How are you? I hope that you are doing amazing. You've been taking care of yourself. Thank you for joining me today. As you can see by today's title, we're going to be talking about some lessons that I would like to give to people from the ages 18 to like 23. Okay, this is all based upon what I've lived through. I have learned a lot of it. It's gonna be like common sense, and you're gonna be like, Zion, who doesn't know this? You'd be shocked. Okay, so I'm here to help. Okay, it's your big sis Z. Do not worry. Hold my hand. Never fear. Never fear. Z is here. The inspiration for this video, I was looking through one of my old journals I'm looking at it right now. So if I'm looking down, that's why. Also, sorry for the glare in my glasses, babe. I need to be able to see. I don't know how to fix it. Hopefully the lighting's good. Like, bear with me. You're just going to get the message. I was looking through one of my old journals from let me look at the date. It says 2023. That was 3 years ago. So I'm 24 right now. So when I was the ages 21 to 22, I had wrote down this list. I honestly struggled a lot in my early 20s based upon being irresponsible or having bad habits or living for other people and not myself. Okay, make sure you are okay first. I was reading through this and I was like, wow. I was kind of spitting. I kind of know what I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna read over some of them with you. This is gonna be a two-part video because I don't want this to be too long. And homegirl, I wrote some pages down, okay? But I was reading over them and I was like, a lot of these things still stand true today at the age that I'm at now. And now that I'm getting to that mid 20 age, like, yeah, there's a few things I'm like, this is a good reminder. Thank you for being here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Drop a comment down below with any advice that you would give to somebody from the ages 18 to 23. So, hey, if you're the ages 18 to 23, listen up, Pookie. I got something to say. Like I said, I'm going to be looking down and reading off of this journal, so bear with me. So the first one says, never rely on anyone to save you financially, emotionally, or mentally. That one I feel is very self explanatory, but just for a quick rundown, there's nothing wrong with asking for help. There's nothing wrong with expecting help in some ways from the people who are closest to you or who say that they can. However, nobody can save you, babe. Like, I know that is a really hard pill to swallow, and it took me a minute to swallow that pill of like, damn, people be promising a bunch of shit. They be promising I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and they don't. Because think about it in this way. There's this lady I watch on YouTube. Her name is Shay Pila. Shout out to her. She says it all the time. You cannot ask advice from somebody on how to get out the cage if they're still in it. So like, a lot of the times you just got to figure it out for yourself, and you'll find out that people are going to start following what you're doing because they didn't know either. Okay, just saying. So yeah, never rely on anybody. I don't give a fuck who it is, and don't be relying on no significant other to do it for you either, because also think about it this way. Think about what kind of pressure that puts on somebody if they know that they have to save you and themselves. I'm just saying. So you might as well just focus on you so that way you're solid enough to where you can actually help other people. The next one that I wrote down says never make an impulsive decision. Now, never is a strong word because, what Justin Bieber say never. Never say never. Now, he bigger than me, stronger than me, and his arms a little bit longer than me, but he ain't on a JB song. I'm sorry. Anyways, sidetrack. I'm going to say the word never because I just wanted to really get it through my thick ass skull at that age. Like, hey, let's not do this, okay? These are basically like the law of being 18 to 23. So I'm gonna say never, but if it happens, do not shame yourself. The biggest thing I want to say, if there's anything on this list, this is not me trying to be like, oh, how dare you, and you did this. No, babe, I wrote these down because I did them myself or watched it happen. And I was like, ooh, let me make note of that and not do that again. We want to learn the first time so we don't have to keep going through things, right? Okay. Anyway, second one, never make an impulsive decision. That one's self explanatory. I want you to ask yourself this. Think about any time you've been making or you have made an impulsive decision, whether it's with finances, whether it's with friends, relationships, food, clothes. Like, what did that impulsive choice lead you? I know the answer because mine was just stress, babe. Like, even being impulsive gives you're anxious about your choices, and it also gives that you don't trust yourself and the choices you make for yourself. Yes, you have to learn, but ultimately you live with you. You know what you need. You wake up with you, you go to sleep with you, you have to take care of you. Your parents aren't taking care of you, and even if you still live with your parents, like, you still have to do this. Sorry if the camera angle changed a little bit. I just need to be centered. And if you see the shit rocking, I'm sitting up right against the desk. So every time I move, they gonna move. Neither here nor there. Yeah. Being impulsive has never brought me anything good. So just think about it. Think about it a little bit extra than just doing it off top immediately. Like, okay, and I know as girls, it's, oh, what do you want to eat? And, oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Like, imagine how much easier it is when you just choose. And it's like you can always change your choice. Choices are not permanent unless you make a permanent choice. But don't make a permanent choice impulsively. It's like don't get a impulsive tattoo. Why would you get, I don't know, love blasted on your forehead as a tattoo just because you impulsively wanted to? You're gonna regret that deeply, and we don't want to live a life of regret, right? My nana used to say that all the time before she passed. Rest in peace, my nana. I love you. She said, Zion, I can't live in regret because if I lived in regret, I wouldn't be able to live at all. And that's a bar because the point is to live, not survive. We want to thrive. We want to actually live life, right? So don't make impulsive decisions. That I say all that to say, do not make impulsive decisions. Really avoid those. Even if you need to ask somebody else, or you need to write it down, or journal on it, or you need to sleep on it, or you need to think about it. There's nothing wrong with saying no at first, or maybe, or hey, I need some time. I just said that to somebody on the phone. Hey, I don't want to lie to you and lead you on. So can I get back to you at a different time? And they were like, yeah. So really simple. The next one that I'm going to say is never act purely on emotion. That one still kind of ties into the last one, but don't be making decisions emotionally, especially as an adult, because now you are responsible for your own life, regardless of the help that you have. It's like, when somebody's angry and they just start talking out the side of their neck because they in their feelings, that's their emotions talking. And then most of the time, if that person has common sense or they care, they come back around and they're like, dang, I was just emotional, I was just angry, I didn't know what I was saying. What did somebody say to me? You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Emotions are temporary. Emotions can lie. Emotions are deceiving. You can feel one way even though it's not real. I know you've experienced that with other people, and it's like it doesn't make you feel good when somebody's, oh, I feel like you did this to me, but the facts are you didn't, or the facts are that they wasn't paying attention. Like, be in touch with your emotions, but control them. I had posted a reel on my Instagram, and maybe I will insert it in a clip. What I just got. Emotions are not the car. Emotions are not the car. Emotions are not the driver of the car. Emotions are the check engine light, the tire pressure light, the gas light coming on. Emotions are indicators on the vehicle, on what needs to happen with the vehicle, what needs to be fixed with the vehicle, what's wrong with the vehicle, where it needs to go, what needs to be refueled. Emotions are not the car. Emotions are not the driver. Our emotions are indicators of what we need. Is our body or our nervous system or the brain or the chemicals, but telling us, hey, it's tapping us, hey, something's going on. But instead we just let that emotion take control of everything going on. Emotions are indicators of what needs to change, be fixed, be refilled and recharged. And that's a lesson for me too. You shouldn't let emotions drive your car. Think about your life like a car. You wouldn't just be like, oh, I'm angry. Well, here, anger, take over, drive the car. Like, no. Is it your life or what? Because as much or as strong as those emotions are, and I understand because I feel so deeply and I feel so strongly, as as intense as the emotions are, it always passes. It's never the same. Nobody just lives angrily. Yeah, sure, there's some people who are angry often or all the time, but that's a choice they're making. They are letting those emotions consume their logic, consume the history that they have, the stats, the potential that they have. They're letting it consume their discipline. Like it never leads you down a good track. So just do not make a decision purely based on emotion only. Include your emotions in it, but include logic, include intuition. Pray about it. How about that? Okay, ask a trusted mentor, ask a trusted friend, ask yourself, write it down in a journal. How does this decision make me feel? Or why does this emotion come up when I have to make this decision? I'm just saying, this little word of advice, okay? The next one says, make intentions clear from the jump. Set the intention before everything you do, okay? And I'm gonna just read off the definition for the word intention. So, the definition for the word intention is a thing intended, an aim, or a plan. Intention is so important. Intention is usually what the outcome is. And I'm going to talk about that in a later video at a time, but think about it. Let's say a guy and a girl, they want to get together. The girl actually really likes this man. She really wants to see what foundations they can build and whoopty whoopty whoop, or vice versa. It doesn't matter. I'm not biased. But let's say the man, he just wanna, he just wanna get a little something, something, right? If those intentions are not made clear when they link up or before they hang out, there's going to be an imbalance. It's gonna feel one-sided for the woman because she don't want to just, sleep around and do all that, but he does. And regardless, it is our responsibility to let the intentions be known, because why not? Why would you want to have a secret agenda? Think about it. You've had people around you, or even when friends, it's like they be saying all this, but their actions are always like, what's your real intention behind this? And that, I don't like that. So don't be one of them people. Like, for real, even before you exercise, even before you eat, intention is like praying before you do something. Intention is like, okay, I intend to sit down and read a whole chapter of the book. You will read a whole chapter of that book. So, intention is something that's going to work in your benefit, because then it's a clear plan. You need to have a plan. We not like, yeah, there's times in life where you have to improvise. There's times in life where you have to wing it, okay? You got to figure it out. However, it is less stressful having a plan and executing on that plan before you do anything. Okay, what's my intention for going in this gym today? I want to work on my abs, do some cardio. It don't even have to be big, but it's just being intentional. It's intentionally placing the right amount of energy, planning, words, resources into what you're doing, so that way you're not overextending yourself, you're not underperforming, you're not overperforming. It's balance. Intention brings balance into your life. So before you do anything, ask yourself, what's my intention? Even before I started recording this video, my intention is to get my message across. My intention is to help individuals and give advice that maybe they haven't heard before, or just to share what I've learned from my personal experience, so that way you don't have to go through the same thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have a little sister, she's gonna be grown in a few years, and it's like, these are things that I would tell her too, and I do. Like, okay, we have to be smart. Have a purpose. We have a purpose here in this life, and being intention is staying in alignment with your purpose. That's the best way I can put it for you. All right, moving on to the next one. The next one is, don't include other people in your plan. Let them choose. In parentheses, I wrote get right or get left. How do I say this? I'm not saying don't include people into your plan, but as the first point was, do not rely on people. See, I've been through a few scenarios where I planned something out, but the plan was based on another person's performance or another person's actions. And as we all know, you cannot control what somebody else's do. All we can control is ourselves. Even if somebody's like, yeah, yeah, I'll do it. That don't mean they always gonna keep their word. Everybody does not have that expectation or standard for themselves. Which, it is what it is. You got to let certain people grow up and mature and learn the hard way. I've had to learn the hard way in a lot of things, and I've also watched people learn the hard ways. And there's been plenty of times where I've experienced of somebody being like, yeah, this is the plan, this is the plan, I'm down, I'm down. Like, in that story time I was talking about with Sparkle, like, there was so much that happened in that time period of me living with everyone. In a lot of ways, it was like we had so many plans to do so much, but they weren't following their end of the deal. In essence, they weren't being responsible. They just wanted to be emotionally carried in some ways. Does that make sense? It's like, How did I write it down? You can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. Like straight up. I know everybody hears that saying, but it's really true. Like I could plan to be a billionaire. I could plan to start a business. And it's like, oh, I want to have a business partner. I want to do this. Plan on having that business regardless of if your significant other is with you or regardless of if your friend is with you. And it's not to, oh, exclude them or to be harsh. It's you want to be who you want to be regardless of who's around you. And if you don't, then that means you don't really want it that bad. But regardless, you also can't force somebody else to see what you mean. You can't force somebody else. Sometimes you just got to execute on the plan instead of trying to force somebody to see your point of view, to see why you did it, because everything doesn't always make sense to everybody, and it doesn't have to. Unfortunately, we live in a world where people tend to believe what they see more than what they hear, which for valid reasons, because as I just said, a lot of people don't keep to their word. I haven't kept to my own word a lot of the times too, and broken promises is a sense of betrayal, and betrayal within itself is something that's hard to go through. And there's also a lot of people because of social media, they be portraying their life is one way and they did this, and oh, I worked so hard, whole time there was money passed down from their parents or whatever, or like gym girlies, oh, look at how I grew my butt, whole time they had surgery, or this is an altered picture. Like, you really have to use, that's why discernment and intuition is so important. But yeah, you can't force nothing, so don't try to. Just make your life's plan and tell yourself, regardless of what's happening, I want to get to this point because it's for me. You have to do things for you, not for other people. Because what happens when them other people let you down? Then you don't want to do it at all. Just saying. The next one says people would rather watch you struggle. Now, this one's kind of harsh. A lot of these I was just in a weird place and just had to say it bluntly. Now, I'm not gonna say there's not people who don't care. Okay, I'm never gonna be biased. I'm very good at seeing things I want to say from another person's perspective until a point. I'm very empathetic, right? And this is my thing. What did I write down next to this? Think about when you've had the most friends in your life. Sure, even if on the outside everything looked great, people have the tendency, I want to say, especially nowadays, and this has probably been going on forever, to just watch you struggle because they either don't know how to help, they don't want to help because they don't want to see you succeed, they don't want to see you surpass them in life, so they just take advantage of it. I've had so many friends when I was at the lowest points of my life. To be really honest, I've had so much support and help when I was deeply needing help, when I was in a deep struggle. And it's like, yes, it's my fault and I could be accountable for why was I so worried about these people's lives when I needed to get my own together. That's where you start self-reflecting. However, a lot of people like to take advantage of you and it'll be so slick. Like when you're down or you struggling through something, there's gonna be a very select few of people in your life who genuinely care. And you'll know the difference between real care and fake care. That is something I feel like we all can just tell. You can tell when somebody's just trying to, they don't know what to do, so they just trying to tell you what you want to hear versus what you need to hear. And yeah, it's an unfortunate thing, and not everybody is like this, and maybe everybody hasn't gone through this, but it's just something that I've noticed. But that's why there's this interpretation, or that's why it's that thing of like when you come up and you come up on a bag or you got a lot of money, everybody wants to pop up out the woodworks like, oh, I know her, or oh, we used to be such good friends, or oh, this and that, or oh. And it's like, girl, where was you at when I really needed you? Where were you at when I was really struggling, when I was really like, damn, I just need somebody? Now, once again, do not rely on people for encouragement. At the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you got to tell yourself you're going to be okay. And usually, when you do that with yourself, you will start attracting the reflections of people who will do that with you. Does that make sense? Why? Because they're doing that with themselves. It's really about what somebody's doing in their own life as well. I guess another point I want to add to this is like, think about social media. Like think about when somebody posts something involving trauma or something that's violent, or notice how many views it gets, how many likes, how many people interact with that. Why? Because it's such an easy carnal human thing for us to fall into. We're all people. We're all humans. Yes, we all have a dark sides to us, and it is a choice to act on it, to work on it, to acknowledge them parts of us, because nobody can sit up here and be like, oh, I don't have that. No, No, I'm perfect to everybody. And no, that's not real. And if somebody's trying to sell you the idea, that's the red flag. And think about how many people who post things about real growth, real consistency, even outside of money, like health and mental health, and yeah, those will get views, but it's like people don't really abide by it. That's not what grabs the attention first. It's a choice. Even with myself, I could be scrolling on my Instagram and yeah, it'll be something that pops up. But if it's something that's violent or trauma related, it's my choice if I want to sit and look at it or move on. A lot of people don't want to confront the fact or ask themselves, why is it so entertaining for me to watch trauma or drama at that? How much, hello, like look at reality TV, people be going crazy over that. And I'm not saying don't watch your favorite shows at a certain time, but if that's all you consume, no. I was like, that's really bad. I'm not gonna lie, that's really, really bad. And this is what I say about it. This is the last thing I say about it. It's kind of that ride or die thing. Like, oh, if we were ever in this situation, I would do blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna say don't believe them, but take it with a grain of salt and pay attention to their actions. If they can't even stand up for you in the day to day little things, or be disciplined with you in the day to day things, or have good habits, then how are they gonna do it when you get to the goal that you want? People like that who would rather watch you struggle than aid any sort of help that they can, even if it's just a hug, even if it's just the words, those tend to be the haters. Those are the people who are jealous, who got some secret animosity. You got to watch out for them. And make sure that you're giving the support that you would like to receive in some manner. Like, you can't expect somebody to do all these things and you stingy. And you don't want to help nobody else because now you're just being hypocritical. So let's not do that. The next point is, it's not okay to lash out on people who actually help you. In parentheses, I put, or in general, especially as a lady. We're too powerful. This one is kind of self-explanatory. Like, I know you've all been to Walmart before, and it's a mom or a parent, and they got a badass kid. I'm talking about the kid standing up in the car, screaming, yelling, grabbing shit, talking about some, oh, I want this. Like, I've seen that a few times. How I was raised, you got about one time to act up in this store, and then we finna go in the bathroom and handle that. So you learn kind of quickly to, like, let me keep my composure when I'm in public. Even in the house, you shouldn't be doing that. But like, translate that into grown adults. Like, why would you want to air out all your business like that? And listen, I'm gonna say this right now. Okay, I don't like the term crash out because half the time people don't even be crashing out, they just be crying, babe. But as somebody who really would take it there after I hit my point and just have no regard, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I don't care what they say. They're strangers, they don't know me. Okay, what happens when you're rich and famous one day, or you're a celebrity and somebody's like, damn, I seen this girl in the Target parking lot. She was sitting on top of the car, banging on it, crying, screaming. Like, not saying I've done that, but I'm just saying, like, as an example, I feel like those are the things that we don't think about. Like, even if you think nobody's watching you, somebody could be, and they paying attention and they tracking it probably more than you are. So yeah, it's just not a good look, babe. It's just not a good look. And it's like, when you're young, people already assume that you're irresponsible, that you're reckless. That's why we get such high insurance and all these other things, because we're a risk. It's like, if people already have this predetermined expectation of how you're going to act and how to be, it's not necessarily your job to beat it, because who the fuck cares what they think about you? But it's also like, you don't want to give anybody a reason. My grandmas, they're very adamant on, do not give anybody a reason in the first place. Even if you're not a person who trips out, don't be giving them no reason. Like straight up, yeah, be you, be authentic. This is the best way I can quantify this. Think about when you go out to eat with somebody and the person that you're eating with, they're just so unnecessarily rude to the waiter. Like, I know you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, well, you can imagine. Like, they're just like, ugh, ugh, huffing and puffing it. Ugh, why was she looking like that? Ugh, why are you taking so long? And they just talking about it out loud like the person can't hear you. You're probably not going to get great service. It's also embarrassing to be around somebody like that. Like, why are you being so rude? Why are you lashing out on this person when they're serving us? It's best to hold your composure, especially as women. Do not, let me get a little closer with this one. Let me tell you something, babe. Do not be lashing out, screaming and yelling at no man in public. It will not solve a thing. All it really will do is give that person the leverage to be like, oh, well, you just don't have control of yourself and blah, 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 and all that. Like, no. Now, sure, if there's danger or something is going on and you have to cause a scene, that's completely different. That is not what we're talking about. When there's a conflict and you need to resolve it, the first thing should not be to lash out, especially while in public. I'm just saying. And if that's the result every time, you need to ask yourself, why do I feel so triggered by such and such or whatever scenario, you know? Because those are important questions to ask. So, yeah, I hope that one made sense. It's kind of self explanatory, but just to expound a little bit. Next one that kind of ties into the one we just said was acting out of emotion is not the same as communicating how you feel. Okay, now what did we just talk about earlier? Do not make an impulsive decision only on emotion. Do not only act on emotion. You being emotional does not communicate your point. And as a woman, I understand it, especially when it's just hard and you're like, I can't do anything but cry. You know what? Cry. And then when you're done crying and you're woosad and you're grounded, formulate how to articulate what your actual problem is. And this is what I feel like I've learned. A lot of the times it's hard to do that because we don't sit with ourselves for long enough to think about how we feel or to think about how something made us feel, to think about why I felt this way and why did it cause this emotion. Like it really is you questioning yourself because you would rather question yourself to have somebody else question you. Just to be straight up, I'm a very adamant journal. That's why we sitting up here going through this journal, okay? I'm very adamant on, dang, how do I feel? How does this make me feel? Even I just got off of a 3-day fast. And every day at the end of the day before I went to sleep, I would ask myself, what did I learn about myself today? And I would write it out on a piece of paper. And it's crazy the things that came up. It's like, wow, it'd be so low key that sometimes it'd be going over my own head and it's me. But it's like, I'm really glad that I've built a skill to be able to observe myself first because people see you and energy don't lie. Okay. There's things that you think people can't see that they've been known. Learn how to communicate. I don't want to say there's a specific way to learn. You can either learn the hard way or you can be intentional. See, this is what's going back to have a plan on how you want to communicate what you want to say. Be like, okay, my intention for addressing this is to express how I feel, to express how what the other person did make me feel, and find a solution. Or my intention is to cut a tie with this person and let them know why. Okay, sorry, I had to readjust myself. I think I'm gonna get into like two more points because I don't want this to be too long, and I've already been yapping on every point. So the next one that I'm gonna get into it says this: if you get defensive about something that doesn't involve you and you know it doesn't, that means you identify with it. And it's crazy because I've actually had somebody tell this to me, like in the middle of a heated argument. It's like, well, if you don't think it's true, then why are you getting so defensive about it? And I was like, it really took me aback. I was like, how dare you say that? But then as time has gone on, I was like, no, it is kind of true. If somebody's like, oh, you've been stealing money, and I know I have it, but I start getting all, no, I haven't, no, I haven't, I'm getting all turned up. It's like, doesn't that just make you look guilty? Like, really think about it. As opposed to just being like, oh, nah, like, I've been doing X, Y, and Z, like just being direct. Communication is key for real. Think about if you've ever gotten cheated on and you ask the person, but you already know, and they start getting defensive. Well, why? Well, why are you saying that? Well, why do you think that I did that? Well, me. Whole time you ain't doing nothing to prove me wrong. You just proving my gut feeling right. And now it's like you could have just been like, oh nah, and eased my mind, but instead you wanted to get defensive and argue about something. So it's kind of like now I definitely know you did some shit. Like there's no need to defend something that you know you didn't do. That's how people be trying to catch you up sometimes. You really gotta pay attention. If anything, I hope you can take something that resonates from this video and apply it because that is so true. Like if God got you, if you know that you stay on your P's and Q's and you're disciplined and you're consistent, you do not have to defend nothing because your actions align with your words and they also speak louder than your words. And the proof is always in the pudding in that way. Like they can say what they want to say, but the facts are the facts. So you don't need to defend a fact when everybody knows what facts are. Some people just are blind or they choose to turn a blind eye to the truth. But yeah, if you defending something you know it's not true, you do not have to. I promise you. You do not have to. I would prefer you don't. You can just be silent. You could just walk away. You could be like, damn, you really think that? Good to know, and move on about your day, and they gonna see as time goes on. Damn, why did I ever think that about her or him? Now, if you being grimy, you better be accountable. You better own up to what's been done. All right, the last point that I'm gonna get into is instant satisfaction never ends well. And listen, I feel like this is something that has really begun to lock in this 24th year of my life. Instant gratification never, in the long run, is better for you than delayed gratification. Discipline is really the key to life. Discipline and doing something consistently. That's why it's important to master a skill even if you don't have a career. That's why it's important to go to the gym every day if you really want the body that you want, because you will see it. You just have to trust the process. You have to trust yourself in the decision to do something every day until you get the result. It's being intentional. It's having an intention. Okay, I feel like I want a pizza right now, but damn, is that really gonna help me become the millionaire that I want to? Is that really gonna help me get the body I want? I'm not saying don't splurge on yourself sometimes, but it shouldn't be an everyday thing. With anything, I want to sit on my phone and just scroll. How about you sit down and read a book, or listen to an audiobook, or listen to some classical music? That one I feel like you hear a lot more, but it's just something that I felt was important to bring up. I think this has already been long enough and I don't want it to be too long, so I'm gonna cut it right here. There will definitely be a part two. This is going to be life lessons with Z for people specifically from the ages 18 to 23. Okay? But I love you all very much. You got this. Keep your head up. Be encouraged, please, and know that you're doing amazing. The goal is to be 1% better every day. Even if you can't get to the full 1%, do one thing extra for yourself every day. For real. Do one act of love to yourself every day. Do one productive thing every day. Rest at least once a day, you know? But I love you so much. Thank you for tapping in with me. Thank you for watching. Drop a comment down below of some life lessons that you learned in your early 20s, or if you're that age, or if there's something you want to know. I'm always open to talk. I love talking to y'all. For real, y'all are my family. Thank you so much for being here. For real, I love you. Make sure you follow me on all my socials, okay? On Instagram. Follow my second YouTube channel at Taboo Thoughts. Make sure you stay tapped in. Turn on that post notification so you know when I drop another banger, babe. I got a lot of like sit down videos coming. I want to start a health series, so I definitely want you to be on the lookout for that one. Okay? But yeah, I love you all so much. It's ZTV and it's B. Okay? Tap in with your girl. I love you. Please take care of yourself. Love on yourself. Love on each other.